Since Pat and I went to Belize on a medical mission, we went 2 years in a row to the southern part of the country with probably 30 other folks, physicians, nurses, people that were there to help the residents in Riga, which is not far from Guatemala. Most people think of Belize as a place to go scuba diving or play on the beach or have a vacation or visit Mayan ruins. We were there helping the people that are in the southern part of the country, which is impoverished and it has very rudimentary medical facilities. So the hospital there literally has a menu of items that they offer, and it's one page. And if you happen to have one of those melodies, then they can treat you. And if you don't have it, then there's nothing they can do for you. And so various times during the year, groups come in to provide medical care. One of the most remarkable things about that was that the day we would arrive, we would have about 500 people in the parking lot waiting for medical care of one sort or another. We would triage them, and many of them we had to send home because we didn't have a specialist that could meet their needs. But they were always very kind, very patient, and very grateful for the medical care that they got. It was a remarkable reminder to us of the wonderful medical community we have in this country. If any of you were to have a problem right now, we could call 911, and within 5 minutes we get an ambulance here and probably half a dozen people to help you. And the hospital is less than an hour away, and the best medical care in the world over in Seattle. Many of us that are here today are here because of that medical care. We had something in our past that would have taken our life away were it not have been for a medical intervention. And many of us have the benefit of things that we consider real simple, but have changed our lives. I got glasses when I was about 5 years old, which changed my entire perspective on the world, literally. It enabled me to see the blackboard, and it has enabled me to have near 20/20 vision for the rest of my life. And that's just one example of a simple way in which modern medicine impacts our lives. We're all aware of that. And therefore, it's difficult for us to imagine living in a place or in a time when that medical care wasn't available. When the best you could hope for is that somehow, spontaneously, you would recover from whatever your problem was, whether it was medical or trauma. That any help you got was more a matter of chance than a matter of design. And where, if you got sick, you were likely to have that problem for the rest of your life, which, by the way, was not expected to last very long. And so we can imagine the situation that Naaman is facing as he comes down with leprosy, which was a devastating disease. The term leprosy was used in the ancient world to describe all kinds of skin conditions. But primarily, the one we think of as leprosy, which is disfiguring, it is painful, and it is life-threatening. And so, for Naaman to come down with this condition was a condemnation for the rest of his life. He was going to deal with this for as long as he lived. When he hears that there's a possibility that in this foreign country of Israel, there is someone who could bring him healing, he leaps at the chance. Even though the source of information is not someone that's highly regarded. This is a maid who has been taken as a slave to his wife. But even when she says, would that he could go to Israel to this prophet and be healed, Naaman takes the chance. Goes to the king, puts together this entourage and a substantial war chest. He's got silver, he's got gold, he's got 10 garments with him, he's got horses and chariots and attendants. This is a pretty impressive parade that comes into Israel. And he goes right to the king, to the top. And the king's response, typical of a politician, is, what does this guy want from me? And is he trying to trick me? Because the relationship between Israel and Syria was not a good one. Syria was a country on the rise and had a substantial military power. And so Elisha, the descendant of Elijah, whom we heard about last week, comes forward and says, basically, send him to me. And so Naaman and his whole entourage come to visit this prophet, expecting that something dramatic will happen. Not that he would just send a servant and say, go wash in the Jordan River 7 times. I mean, you would expect that he would at least get a personal audience with Elisha. Or that Elisha would say some prayers, or as he says, waves his hand over the leper and make him whole and clean. But Elisha doesn't do that. Simply tells him, go off into the Jordan River, wash 7 times, and you will be healed. And so Naaman can't believe it, and is doubtful of this. After all, the Jordan River is not exactly the nicest, cleanest river in the world. It runs slowly, it's dirty. You're likely to more pick up a disease from the Jordan River than you are to get rid of it. And there are better rivers back home. All I needed to do was wash, well, that's no big deal. And yet his servants say to him, look, you come all this way. If he asks you to do something difficult to do, this is so simple. But it's an act of faith. It's an act of trust. The washing is not going to heal him. It's not going to make him clean. It's his faith in the power of God that cleanses him of his leprosy. And so washing in the Jordan is an act of trust. It's an act of faith for him. And he is healed of his leprosy and made clean. This foreigner, in terms of the people of Israel, a non-believer, does not depend upon who Naaman was, or Naaman's virtue, or Naaman's belief in God, simply his trust in God. Our lessons this morning are all about healing in one way or another. When Jesus gathers 70 of his disciples and sends them out into the villages and towns that he's going to visit, he sends them out with 3 simple instructions. I love the first one. Eat what is set before you. The second one, heal the sick and sick. The third, tell them the kingdom of God has come near to you. But the essence of this is healing those that are sick. In a world where people were often sick, a world like ours. Sequim is a wonderful place and a great place to get medical education, because people are always willing to tell you about their medical problems. I've learned more about medicine as a priest than I ever did as an EMT. Because people will tell you about their symptoms, they'll tell you about the treatments, they'll tell you how things are going. So you end up learning a fair amount about things like heart disease and pneumonia and cancer, that kind of thing. We spend a lot of time sharing that with one another. In their world, it was just as strong. So every town and village that they went into, there were, like we found in Riga, people who would line up for the possibility of healing. And the disciples come back excited because it works. People come to them, they receive healing, and they're astonished by this. Now, there's a bit of a difference between the healing we find in the Bible, particularly in the New Testament, and what we experience as healing today. Because in most cases, Jesus does not pray for healing. He commands healing. He says to them, be healed. And most often he says to them, your faith has made you well. There's always the participation of the person who is receiving the healing in the whole process. It's not like a doctor who does something for you. You participate in it. And healing is proclaimed. It is not something that is prayed for. Today, healing is a little bit different. When you have a problem, the first thing you do is go to a physician. You seek medical healing. But true healing is more than that. Healing is more than something done got broke and it needs to be fixed, whether it's medical or traumatic. It is something that affects the entire human being. Many of you live with a medical problem. often a medical problem that will not go away. My eyes aren't going to all of a sudden correct themselves and get better. I'll live with this probably for the rest of my life. But that doesn't mean I'm not healthy. It means that I'm able to overcome that and live my life. Overcoming cancer, heart disease, is not a matter of getting rid of it so much as it is a matter of living your life, even with it. So the more you're able to live a normal, healthy life, the healthier you are, and the more healing you have. All of us are going to die of something. All medicine does is buy us time. Thank God for that. I appreciate it. But eventually, something will take our life. In the mean season, healing is more than fixing something that is medically wrong. It involves our spirit, our soul. It involves the way we are thinking. Anybody that's had a major medical issue knows that the challenge is as much psychological as it is physical. And spiritual as well. When you have a serious medical problem, it calls up spiritual questions. Not the least of which is, where is God in the midst of this? And how is God going to be there for me? So that when we talk about healing within a modern context, it's much larger than just fixing something that's wrong. And it involves several ways in which we minister to those that are in need. The first is by listening to them. When you listen to somebody actively, asking questions, drawing them out, listening to their story, it means that they're not alone. As Paul says in our epistle this morning, bear one another's burdens. And one of the most difficult parts of being sick is the isolation. When we share that story, our story, with someone else, and someone listens to us, we don't feel alone. We're cared for. We share that burden. And often when somebody has a problem, I will ask them to talk to me about it, tell me about it, because they need to share that story. They need to share what's going on. So listening is one way that healing takes place, because we do share that whatever the issue is with somebody else. Another way that we do that is in prayer. We have a long list of intercessions. Every week, those will change, new people will be added. Those prayers make a difference. One of the things we're praying for is that somehow and in some way, in the midst of this situation, God will work. Now, that person may or may not get better physically, but that doesn't mean that the prayer has been answered. Because what we're praying for is something larger than that. The presence of God. The strength of God. The peace of God. Notice when Jesus sends out his disciples, he sends them out with that message of peace. That's what we're hoping for and looking for and longing for when we talk about healing. Each of us face the challenges of declining or changing health. No one escapes that. And in those times, we need to know that God cares, that we're not alone. God makes a difference. That the God who gave us life can also bring us healing. And that those most difficult times in life can turn around. They can work in our favor. They can bring us wisdom, patience, understanding, compassion, empathy. And in fact, the most trying times in life physically can also be times of spiritual growth. When we look at healing, it's important to realize that however it takes place, God is in the midst of that healing. Whether it's through the skill of somebody else who can do surgery, or the wisdom it takes to make an accurate prescription, or those who are there for us, to listen, to pray, to be present with us. All of that makes a difference. And all of us have an opportunity to share in that ministry of healing. It was the ministry of the church in the beginning. It is the ministry of the church today.